Welcome to Wild Basin Wilderness Preserve. This preserve protects 227 acres of beautiful Texas hill country habitats right here in Austin. It's part of the much larger Balcones Canyonlands Preserve, which covers about 50 square miles. Many rare and vulnerable species of animals and birds live here. That's why we protect the land. This is a great place to enjoy being outside and learn about the natural world. Ready to go exploring?
My name is Paul Montgomery. I am a tour guide at Wild Basin Wilderness Preserve. I began with my first tour in 2011, so I've been doing this for about 10 years. Today we want to talk about food webs at Wild Basin and the basis for the food webs on planet Earth begin with the sunlight that comes from our star, about 93 million miles away. And what I have found out in the years that I've been alive is that of all the sunlight that comes from the star, our star, only about 50% of it gets to planet Earth. And of that 50%, less than 2% of that sunlight is used in photosynthesis. What makes this planet so unique is the creation of plants from sunlight and the large-scale storage of that sunlight in cells within the plant. So the cells are feeding the plant and causing the plant to grow. An herbivore is a life form, is a species of animal that relies solely upon plants for its existence. And that is something that defines what an herbivore is. When I think of a herbivore, I certainly think of something that eats leaves and eats little small plants, that type of thing. But essentially, it's not looking for anything with any type of meaty substance to it, but it's looking for a plant substance that it can digest at its own rate. So a herbivore would be essentially a plant eater, okay? This is a Texas mountain laurel, and it is really something that a herbivore or an insect would respond to more quickly than I would, mainly because it is super fragrant, it smells great, and insects like bees, among other insects, love to feed on the blooms. And here's what one looks like. After the fragrant clumps of flowers fall off, the seed pods that are formed produce a very beautiful red, hard seed, mountain laurel seeds. An omnivore would be a life form that combines both qualities of a plant eater and also something that eats meat, okay? Something that would fit into that category. A raccoon could be considered an omnivore in the sense that it eats plants and it also eats animals, small animals at one way or another. Birds. Birds also would be considered omnivores because they can also eat meat. A carnivore would be a large, not necessarily large, but a life form that relies solely upon its own meat or substance that comes from another living creature. A carnivore normally does not eat plants. A carnivore is essentially a meat eater. An example certainly would be a mountain lion, certainly a bobcat that likes squirrels. When I think of food web, I think of really two distinct food webs. I think of the food web that involves what we see, the carnivores, the omnivores, and the herbivores. We have examples of all of those, the animals that exist here on Earth. But there's also that other food web, and it is the food web that I am the most interested in terms of what we don't see. That food web is based upon the decomposition of everything that was alive during the first food web. And it exists here, under the dirt. This is the future of what we know on planet Earth eventually. What is in this soil are something called microorganisms, and I think the idea is you can put 250 million of them on the tip of a pencil lead. The microorganisms. Microorganisms feed on dead material, organic matter. Feeding on dead matter implies, first of all, that everything lives, and then secondly, everything dies. And it is through death that microorganisms bring life onto the stage again. That blows me away. I've led over 200 tours, and every one of them have been priceless experiences. So come on out here and bring some kids the next time you're here. Thank you.